The internal battle, BMW 3 Series against BMW 5 Series. Which one is the better pick for you? We're going to find out very soon. We have already compared the previous generation 5 Series against the pre-facelift of the 3 Series. And now it is 3 Series facelift against the all-new generation, the G60 of the 5 Series. Or as we say in Germany, Dreier gegen Fünfer. Here with Thomas and Auto Gefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. And you can already see it in the front here. The 3 Series is way lower in the front hood and it raises here a little bit. The 5 Series way more voluminous in the height especially. Very interesting, right? Skyscraper Gray is the vehicle color here for the 3 Series, whereas we have the Phytonic Blue here for the 5 Series. And both vehicles are equipped with the M Sport Pack, but not with the M Sport Pack Pro, and they don't have the extended shadow line. That's why, although there's M Sport on it, we still have the bright frames around the kidneys each. And to me, this is also the preferred styling, but you can like this or that. So both would be available. But definitely in the front, I think the look is way different. Or what do you think? Then as for size and dimensions and so on, this one here, the 3 Series, is at 4.71 m or 185 inches, whereas the 5 Series is 34 centimeters or 14 inches longer. So now in this new generation, a significant or even more significant difference in the length between 3 Series and 5 Series. We have 19-inch wheels here on the 3 Series today, the biggest ones that are available. We have 20-inch on the 5 Series, 21-inch would be there, the biggest ones. And we also have somewhat a comparable suspension setup. You have a base setup, you have a fixed M Sport suspension, and then you have the adaptive suspension equipped with both vehicles. The main difference is, however, that the 5 Series also comes with a rear axle steering. It's a combination with the adaptive suspension and the rear axle steering together. And this is also the reason why, although this one here, the 3 Series, is way shorter, and also you see here a little bit slimmer, shorter wheelbase and so on, when you park it in and out the basement garage, it doesn't make a big difference. It's just when you really search a narrow parking spot, then the 3 Series is the favorite one. But when I'm parking in and out my basement garage, it doesn't really matter, because the 5 Series, yeah, you see it here, is longer, but this rear axle steering makes kind of up for it. In the rear, the 3 Series looks a little bit slimmer. Here with the facelift also has these updated slim tail lamps. I think both have a beautiful design. The 3 Series, of course, with these dimensions, a little bit sportier. Here the M Sport Pack also has a little bit more stronger accentuations right there. I feel at least 520i and 320i as the engines. These are the 2-liter 4-cylinder engines, because I wanted to keep it base and puristic and very comparable. 7.4 seconds, 7.5 seconds in the acceleration figure, to really focus on the differences between these two vehicles. And then as I stand here right now, 210 kilograms is the difference. So this one then most obviously is heavier. Let's see how does it feel in driving. And of course there are more engines to consider. Starting with the 3 Series, let's check out the door closing sound. By the way, here proper door handles, so to speak, classic ones. And not my favorite door closing sound, gotta say. Then with the 5 Series, I mean, they are flush, somewhat aerodynamic, and you still have the haptic feedback, and it feels quite nice. However, I do prefer the classic door handles, but these are, let's say, between the all-new and the classic ones. And door closing sound. I would say comparable. Maybe here a little bit better with the 5 Series, but not like the most significant one. Or what do you think? And important here for the 3 Series, it's an option, but at least you have that option. You can get the dual glazing here for the front side windows. And the windows in the 5 Series are by itself pretty thick, you know, but here you can get at least this dual glazing feature, but only for the front. It's not available for the rear windows. Welcome to the 3 Series cockpit. And initially there were also more buttons with the 3 Series. Then with an overhaul they changed it also to this screen only unit, where you also have the temperature unit here in the screen. So this is not a big difference anymore. Most recent facelift also made this new structure here, and this like the vent control here, a little bit different. Still have a manual volume knob. Appreciate to at least have that one. I always give BMW feedback that customers still want the real knobs and the buttons also for the climate unit actually. Build quality is pretty cool. You can also get here this contour stitching on the dashboard, for example. Then you can get different decor elements. Open this one here, then you have adaptive cup holders, that's nice. USB-A charger in the front. Inductive charging pad is not ventilated, so this does overheat the phones. You have this MMI controller here, so good build quality, and you can directly select the driving modes here. This will not be possible that easily in the 5 Series. However, this middle console here is plush enough for your elbow, but it only works like this and some space underneath. And I like that you have the USB-C charging underneath, because then your phone is hidden underneath and it's a clean solution. I can soon show you where you can put the cables in the 5 Series. It's not the cleanest solution. Then again, in the 5 Series you have the split opening, which is easier to access than always doing like, like this. So both pro and con, definitely. M Sport steering wheel is a little bit thicker here. The base steering wheel, since the recent 3 Series facelift, is also animal-free, by the way, and to me even feels better, and it's also pretty cool from the form. Headroom with 189, 6'2", no problem. And the seats here are the fabric seats, M Sport fabric seats with M Perform text, microfibers, a new microfiber, pretty thick microfiber. So they look great, look sporty, they are also nice and comfortable. It's always pro and contra with fabric, of course. So the pro is that when you are like in wintertime, it's cold, these seats do not get cold by itself. You get into the car and that's fine from the temperature, and they don't get that hot in summertime, so you don't need much active heating or ventilation. That's the advantage. Some prefer leather red seats then to wipe them cleaner, easier. It's also available in the 3 Series. The sensor deck, it's not the generation that we already have in the 5 Series, so not that soft, but they would also be available here and also in different colors. So overall, I'm really happy with the cockpit, and this is really a driver's car, so it directly tells you, let's go, let's drive. And by the way, inside of the doors here, this galvanization of the buttons and so on, this looks pretty cool and also a rather classic styling. So I gotta say, like from the controls and the build quality, this is a very, very good level. Besides losing climate knobs and so on, that might even be better here in the 3 Series than in the 5 Series. Let's find out more about that. Then the driver POV, volume plus minus, nice clicking sound. Left side cruise control, and then here the digital instruments, clear to read. Head-up display is not flickering in real life, and sometimes a little bit overload from this different apps here. And I also don't like that we only have the digital climate unit, but if you put it 22 degrees and automatic, then it's not that bad. Of course, depends on how you use it. And this is here the CarPlay integration, similar in both cars. Rear seats of the 3 Series, nicely covered here on the top, also plush here, nice build quality, just hard pack here on the inside, and then also the nice fabric microfiber mix for the rear seats. It's a good seating comfort here indeed, just the space not that much here for the knees, close, better here with the recess, but it would be better suitable for me if the seat would be a little bit higher. 189, 6'2", still some headroom left, so for 4 tall adults it's okay. Fifth seat could be theoretically possible here also to USB-C chargers with the facelift, big middle tunnel, and then we can fold down this here for cup holders. However, this is not my favorite mechanism here, also when closing it here, so. And then you also have the ski hatch. The main question is, do we really have more space in the 5 Series in the rear? Inside of the doors and rear seats of the 5 Series, here also a cover, that's nicely done, Harman Kardon sound system and so on. A little bit more monolithic design, so to speak, I would say, and no fabric covering on the inside. And we have the Veganza seating materials here, also for the rear. They are a little bit more plush, like the seating depth is a little bit better here. However, I gotta say, you fall a little bit more backwards, whereas the 3 Series back seats are more, let's say, upright. As for the knee room, it doesn't make the biggest difference. However, the recess at the back part of the seat is a little bit more intelligent, and therefore then you have more space for your knees. That is the main reason. Not necessarily that there's overall more space, but really like the recess of the seat is better in this execution. Interesting, right? And headroom, similar, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more headroom here, but it's not that we would have much more space here for the 5 Series in the rear. And then when we compare the cup holders, there we go. Here they are adaptive, and this is like a better execution than here, at least for the cup holders. And the ski hatch, different mechanism, but yeah, same effect. And in the middle part you have a more extended climate unit here with the same touch thing they have introduced in the front, and also 2 USB-C chargers. Now the 5 Series cockpit. First of all, biggest change is seating area. These are the special comfort seats also, so there are different Veganza seats available. It's an animal-free material, very plush, nice in the quality, and this is then comfort package plus comfort seats, so the most comfortable option there is. Seat heating, but also active seat cooling, and that also makes it suitable for all temperature areas, however, and you can also wipe it clean easier. And the seating depth is just better, so especially in the sit bone area, so more comfort on the seat is the thing about the 5 Series. Rest of the cockpit deals, there are some things that are better with the 3 Series. I feel that the overall build quality is not necessarily better with the 5 Series here. If you look at the inside of the doors, by the way, for example, these will be updated soon with the new model year, and also here the low engine version has this drawn back ambient light, which some even prefer, but I heard that also with the model year change it will get the same bigger light bar like the other engine versions. Here the digital instruments, head-up display, and also the infotainment setup is more or less the same, I would say. The manual volume knob is here integrated, and you still have this MMI turning pressing selector. Difference is that here the left side and the inductive charging pit is also ventilated. Here also the adaptive cup holders. And then we have here a more practical split opening to easy access it, but then there's no charging underneath. So when you put your smartphone here, you cannot charge it with the cable. So the cable chargers are in the front here. And when you then put the cable in, you need a very short one. Otherwise, when you put a long cable here, it's like spiraling here around and it doesn't look that clean, so to speak, you know. Headroom, there's also plenty of headroom left, but this is the case then for both vehicles actually. And the steering wheel has this new BMW setup. However, the more clear and more, let's say, single buttons on the steering wheel is, to me, yeah, they are a little bit better, honestly. And a quick look at the 5 Series driver POV. Here, once again, the difference is really that the buttons are different and better in the 3 Series, I feel. But instruments and also the head display are kind of similar. And also then here, the main infotainment unit looks like this. So this is not a real difference then anymore between 3 Series and 5 Series. These are the 2 key fobs, and I think they are both nice in their own way. What do you think? And then you can also press them here to open the trunk. This is my second favorite shot, or maybe even cooler than the engine opening parallel. You can vote in the comments for that. Then we begin with 480 liters with the 3 Series, 40 liters less, but how usable is it actually? Because you see here, it's easily vertical. Touring versions, of course, also available. And here, this is a good meter in width, and the width is actually better usable. I'm soon going to show you why. The length here, a little bit shorter with 3 Series. This is also a good meter of 40 inches, and the height is also a little bit lower. So here we are about 20 inches or 52 centimeters. And then we can also, of course, fold the seats. We unlock them here. But then we either have to go around, or we could also push through. So that would also work like this. So here the total length with the 3 Series inside here is 70 inches or 1 meters 78. Then we move over to the 5 Series, and let's see here, when we put it in vertically, this is higher, because we were at 52 centimeters, and here we are at 54, so a little bit higher, 21 inches, so a little bit higher than here. But you can see, yeah, it goes down lower here, but then this area is shorter, and here on the top, yeah, I mean, this is 1 meter or 40 inches, so a little bit less than here. So the 3 Series is then wider in this area. However, here it is longer. We were at about 1 meter or 40 inches with the 3 Series, and here we are at like 1 meter 17 or 46 inches. So that's why here you also have 40 liters more at 520 liters, and the same mechanism here. Only that because it's longer, it's harder to push it from here. Yeah, you can also go around, and yeah, then as I said, always like this kind You can also measure the full length, of course. So total length of the 3 Series ended here, and now 5 Series total trunk length is at 76 inches or like 1 meters 92. So this is like the difference. If you are a long-term subscriber, you know what's coming. One of my favorite shots in comparison videos. Ta-da! With the engine part, and as I said, the comparable 2-liter 4-cylinder engines. Overall you get 2-liter 4-cylinder and 3-liter 6-cylinder, both petrol and diesel. Difference is that the pure 6-cylinder petrol engine for the 5 Series only available on the Northern American market. In Europe you can only get it in combination with the plug-in hybrid. And this is the second difference then. Plug-in hybrids here both for 2-liter 4-cylinder and the 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol engines. Here with the 3 Series only with the 2-liter 4-cylinder, but now since the facelift also with the upgraded battery that is almost 20 kilowatt hours. So both plug-in hybrid drivetrains make also more sense than now since these updates here with the new generation and here also with the facelift. And if you go for the comparable engine versions, it doesn't make too much difference in the acceleration figures. And you can check out more engine specs then in the link below. And with both cases, it's the case here. And with both vehicles, it's the case we have the rear-wheel drive version today, but when it's all-wheel drive, it's still rear-wheel biased, and there are different all-wheel drive versions available. Sport mode. Ooh, yeah. That was 50 to 120 kilometers an hour with the 3 Series. Now let's do it a little bit further. That's 150 and 160. Luckily only very slight rain here so far, but it's also a good test here for the noise insulation and so on. This is here the 320i, starting with the smaller car in driving to really experience the differences when we then hop to the 5 Series. And very same engine, 7.4 seconds here in the 3 Series, 7.5 it is in the 5 Series because of the weight difference of 210 kilograms. And let's see also, especially in agile driving, if we feel that difference. And yeah, I can already tell you so far, the 3 Series more aggressive, so to speak, and yeah, more fun. I already feel it here in the lane changes. I mean, I know how the 5 Series is feeling, but more to that when we then switch over. You feel also that the steering is different. So, I mean, there's something I have been criticizing in a lot of 3 Series reviews, that especially when you drive a little bit quicker, even in the sport mode, but more so in the comfort mode. So here, like in this area, it's really, really loose. Like this here, nothing much is happening. But then if you suddenly go in a lane change, then in this area here, too much is happening and it's actually too sensitive. So I feel the steering setup here with the 3 Series is still not ideal. That's the thing, really. Now the rain has picked up a little bit, but it's always a good test how the cars are actually reacting in different situations. So once again, I put the sport mode here. I'll be a little bit more careful, of course, but here you feel in the corner, it feels really agile, nice to drive it out. Yeah, and the only thing is really that I'm not super happy with the steering feel and how precise it is. Why did they do it here in the 3 Series generation? I think I explained it like in a couple of reviews before. They wanted the car to feel lighter by changing the steering input to even lighter. That's the thing. And I think it's a wrong decision because the car feels light already. They don't need the artificial steering setup to do that. So, and it's all software tuning, so they really need to work on that. It's still not bad in a way, you know, but there, for example, a C-Class and Audi A4, A5 and so on is better, for example. Let's see, accelerator out here one more time. Of course, I won't go full throttle now in these conditions, but considering these conditions outside, I mean, you also see that on the video, it is still very silent in here. And that's really the thing. We have the option, it's optional, but at least there is this option of the dual glazed windows. And this dual glazing is not available for the 5 Series. The windows itself are pretty thick in the 5 Series, yes, but I'm looking forward to how the comparison then is 3 Series to 5 Series. Oh, here, by the way, now in the sport mode, when the road is really rough, then it's actually, yeah, pretty rough also on the inside, because I've set here to the sport mode and we have the adaptive suspension in both vehicles. and now the rain is really picking up, but considering it's still not that loud on the inside. Now here on the comfort setting, comfort suspension mode, it's way more balanced. So even for the motorway, I would actually prefer that to give you more comfort also long term. So now we're heading into some construction site. So let's test the assistance systems. Setting it here on the adaptive cruise control and assisted driving here also now keeping me in the lane. And let's see how it copes here with the construction site lanes, which are here in Germany yellow, and the white ones are the ordinary ones. And blind spot monitor, there's a yellow triangle in the side mirrors, very well done. And the assistance systems are extremely elaborated, I would say, and very reliable, and also so smooth. This whole application is really awesome. We experienced it in all the latest BMW models. So meanwhile, I really feel that the BMW application of level 2 assistance systems is actually the best at this moment. The 5 Series, soon going to show that to you, also has this assisted driving plus that you can up to 135. You see there? Yeah, because the left lanes there were like they were moved like all over the place. You can see it here on the left side. That's why here the assistance system was actually dropping out and saying like, okay, that's enough for me. And here we can take one more agile turn. As I said, like in the 5 Series, 135 kilometers now, you can even take the hands off the steering wheel in the level 2 system. So I'm going to show that to you. But first of all here, luckily the road is also drier here, and now in this corner, there's also a bump in the corner. Beautiful. So the suspension is doing a great job. So much fun to drive it here. Yeah, I just wish the steering wheel would be a little, like the steering feeling would be a little better, but the whole chassis of the vehicle, the engine is a gem. I mean, even though it's only the 4-cylinder here, the sound of the engine, subtle right there. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. Like transmission and engine is perfect, really perfect. And yes, it is the 184 horsepower version, but already this one is so much fun and feels so great. Rear-wheel drive, rather purest car. It is a low-weight vehicle considering some of the competitors and so on. And just here, I'm just sliding on the throttle in the corner, and it's exactly like when you just dream at night as a car enthusiast, like how a car is supposed to drive. This is it. It's exactly how we wish that it drives, from the chassis, from suspension, from the transmission, from the engine. The engine is so smooth. In Germany, always say like Kultiviertheit or Laufkultur, like the running culture of an engine. And this is what we expect, not too loud, not too silent. And the transmission is going like a symphony, There's no stuttering when you leave your foot off the throttle. There's nothing bad going on. And it's really always when we compare then the BMW transmission and the engine towards all other competitors, you always feel that the others are not bad, but that this one is just so refined, that it's really perfect. That's what I love even already about the 2-liter 4-cylinders at BMW. And strangely and luckily, at the same time, they are among the most efficient ones out there. That's cool, right? Like scoring like 7 liters on 1 kilometers here for this and for the other car as well. So for both engines here. Yeah, that's really cool thing. Now here in the corner one more time, I just have so much fun driving this car. So and when there would be a little bit different, more steering setup, then it would to me be the perfect mid-size car as for the driving experience, honestly. Yeah, also cool these central gauges right there, and there's so much control over this vehicle. You exactly know what you're doing. Hammering in the turning indicator is so much fun. There's always the thing like people say that BMW drivers don't use it, but I can always say it's so much fun to use when you like really put it in there. There's such a great like haptic feedback that it's just a pleasure to do that. And accelerate one more time out here. Yeah, I mean, it's not the most powerful engine, that's clear. So that's not the most fun part, but at the same time, this engine here keeps the weight of the car low, and the agility is amazing. And here at 150 kilometers an hour, it's not actually very loud. It's actually pretty cool. And I don't know, guys. I do have the feeling that with this dual glazed option, the 3 Series might even be more silent than the 5 Series. Not exactly sure yet, but we're gonna experience that very soon. Here, good behavior in the sport mode. Then the steering is also a little bit better. Oh, let's go back to the comfort mode. So to reduce the speed here a little bit more. And here the suspension setting is really good, you know. So I would rather get the adaptive suspension, not because I can switch between comfort and sport mode, but rather for the reason that I'm just driving the normal comfort mode, and there I have the adaptive component of the suspension instead of the base suspension. You know what I mean? If you go for the base suspension, then you should watch out that the wheels are not that large. Here, it still works, the combination adaptive suspension with the 19-inch wheels, then it makes up for that a little bit, you know. And yeah, the seats, I mean, for that mid-size segment, they are also nice, definitely. But this will probably be a difference than when I hop over to the 5 Series. And again, we've seen it in the interior part, that the 5 Series just has the more plush, the more voluminous seats and the more comfortable seats. That's something, of course, you also feel while driving. Yet at the same time, this car really is so engaging, you know. That's all about the 3 Series. If you want a fun ride, if you want an engaging ride. And sport mode. Yep, that was 50 to 150 kilometers an hour. And I think what you all noticed, that the sound emulation in the sport mode here with the 5 Series, which we're driving now, is more pronounced, definitely more pronounced. Yeah, very interesting. Of course, in the acceleration, both similar. The 3 Series a little bit quicker, 0.1 seconds in the official acceleration figure. Yeah, so engine, transmission, and so on feels similar. So both are, of course, really great, as I mentioned before. Directly feel that the 5 Series is a little bit heavier, this 210 kilograms. It's not too much though, but you feel that the car is longer and that the 3 Series is a little bit more agile. You directly feel it. And what you also feel, look at that beautiful Jaguar XK Coupe. As you might know, I used to own a Jaguar XK as well. And so the seats here are better. Obviously you feel it also while driving, especially like in the sit bone area. So underneath, that's where these here are softer. So on the one hand, I would prefer the 3 Series, like, you know, I have more fun in driving, it's more engaging and so on. But here I would say, okay, I'm more relaxed and I just enjoy a longer motorway ride. Lane change is also fun with this one here, but yeah, you definitely feel you have a little bit bulkier car in that respect. You just have more car around you, so to speak. Some little details like switching the driving modes. I had the separate button area in the lower part with the 3 Series. Here is 2 clicks, my modes, and then either confirm in the screen, or here with the MMI selector, then confirm again. So changing the driving modes is way easier in the 3 Series. The rest of the user interface, of course, with the 3 Series facelift has been more aligned than throughout all the other BMW models. And I really gotta say, I mean, it's not too loud in here, and considering we already have these conditions once again, but this dual glazed window in the 3 Series does make a difference. I'm not sure if you also hear that, but I really have the impression that the 3 Series was more silent here from the side window aspect. So yeah, these are pretty thick windows, but they're not dual glazed. So I really feel that we had more silence from the sides here with the 3 Series. I somehow have the feeling we have more silence here, like from the ceiling and from the rear of the vehicle. So ceiling and rear, I felt that the 3 Series was a little bit louder there than this one here. But side windows, and I think in most cases this is the more important thing. I think that the 3 Series is better there when you have that option of the dual glazing. Of course, if you don't have that, if you haven't picked that one, then it won't make such a different difference in that respect. Still, the 5 Series drives well, and the steering is a little bit better actually. So also maybe could be a little bit more progressive or something, or more feeling. Here once again, I would like to have the comfort suspension setting with the sport steering, which will hopefully be available at some point with the software update or so on. But here, for example, in the low degree area a little bit more is happening from the steering input. So steering feel a little bit better with the 5 Series. Suspension, we also have the adaptive suspension here, and both are nice actually. We have here 20-inch wheels, so 1 wheel inch larger. Yeah, it's really tough to say, because I feel that suspension-wise they come close, but due to the wheel difference, it's then hard to say. But I think that the 3 Series setup is still a little bit sportier, but I would not say that it's so much more uncomfortable due to that. So both adaptive suspensions, when you are in the comfort mode, are at a good level and really nice. So that's actually fine with both, I would really say. So the main difference is really in the agility, and soon we're going to like a famous S combination there when we do the motorway switch. I can tell you even more about that. Assistance systems wise, as I already told you, this does have a significant difference here. So here I can even pick not only the assisted driving, but also the assisted driving plus, depending on if it's available. Here at the moment, normal assisted driving, also perfect flow and so on. Now assist plus ready. I can take my hands off the steering wheel, close this message, and now I could drive like this up to 135 kilometers an hour. Still responsible myself, and the cool thing is, maybe I can show that on the other motorway part, which is coming up soon, that you can also do the lane changes just with looking into the side mirror, even if you don't use your hands. And it also works with sunglasses. It's actually no problem. The sensor still recognizes that you are still here and paying attention. It will not work when you're like just looking away or something, then the car is actually realizing that. The noise level is still good, you know, it's absolutely fine, also considering the conditions and so on. And yeah, it's really, I mean, I feel it will also be for me a really tough choice, because it's really between the 3 Series. When you drive it, you just want to keep it for driving, and you have so much fun with it, you know. And here, like here, for example, when I want to change, I don't change the driving mode now. I just stay in the normal mode. It's also fun to steer it around, but you feel that, you know, it pushes you a little bit more in the corner with the weight and the size and so on. So there, the 3 Series is just more fun, definitely. And usually with the 3 Series, you've maybe seen that I would have switched to the sport mode pretty quickly to have the sporty suspension. But here, I thought like, nah, it's too dangerous to change it while driving in the corner. You really have to like, look, okay, there's the my modes, then sport, then confirm. That's BS, honestly. Let's really be honest about that. So that is better in the 3 Series, and something that is worse now. It has been better before. So now let's accelerate out one more time. Everything is free. There we go. Yeah, so much more sound actuation going on here, and now it's getting also once again a little bit rough. That's the speed that is enough for now, considering these conditions here. Yeah, in the sport mode, rough from the adaptive suspension, but now again, I have to look down here, so honestly, I would not change the driving modes in this vehicle, because it's too dangerous to do it while driving, or you gotta tell your passenger to do that. Yeah, that's easily possible in the 3 Series to change it while driving, definitely. Here in the comfort mode, once again, more evening out all the bumps and so on, likable driving feeling. So it still drives nicely, but you already get the picture that the 3 Series drives more sporty, and it's also more fun. At the same time, just chassis and suspension wise, I wouldn't say that the 5 Series is a like something like an advantage there. And here also with the dual glazed windows in the 3 Series, maybe more advantage to the 3 Series. Here then the Assist Plus ready. Let's see if we can induce that for you. There we go. And now I just look in the side mirror. There we go, and the car is doing the lane change. I mean, awesome technology, and so smooth, so seamless. This is the best application for level 2 driving assistance systems in the world, honestly. So yeah, hats off to that. And it's already perfectly legal, you know, and other systems are not legal everywhere. So let's see, we can do the same here, looking to the right mirror. There we go. This is not available in the 3 Series, yes. Exclude for the 5 Series and the 7 Series at this moment. And I think so far, or that's also running the X7. I think so far 5 and 7 Series. Yeah, pretty cool as for that, but that's of course not like the most needed feature. Let's take it that way. So definitely also a good ride here with the 5 Series, but the 3 Series sportier, more fun, more engaging. Whereas with the 5 Series you have a little bit better steering feeling and also the more comfortable seats. So that's making it more suitable long-term driving. So which one will we take home? First of all, as for the fuel economy, 7 liters on 100 kilometers, 34 mpg US, 41 mpg UK for both vehicles, so it doesn't really make a difference which one you pick there. At least here with the 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine. And pricing-wise, it's 52,000 euros in the German entry trim, where there's 59,000 euros, so 7,000 euro difference in the base. And then when you spec them, as I said right now, 70,000 euros for the 3 Series and a well-spec'd 5 Series here, 80,000 euros. So then we have a 10,000 euro difference. Still not that much. On the Northern American market, the 3 Series is a little bit less expensive because there it's built in Mexico. However, now with the recently introduced tariffs, that might change that there also the price difference is shrinking. We gotta see about that. Then of course the question is, which one would I actually take home? Well, if we look at the exterior, I think both are very likable. Still, from the overall styling, the 3 Series is a little sportier, the proportions fit a little bit better, I feel. Interior design is now more or less the same as for the design aspect. However, the details and build quality, you really gotta say that this one is actually better with the 3 Series, I feel. Main difference is the seating comfort. It's good here for the mid-size segment with 3 Series, but these new 5 Series seats are just best in segment and also just more like plush, voluminous. So if you really focus on the comfort and long-term driving, then you still have here a big advantage with the 5 Series. This one would also something that I consider actually. Rest than that, the space is not the largest difference between these two actually. And then in driving, the 3 Series is way more fun. The 5 Series is a little bit more, relaxed, more subtle, more drawn back. So the 3 Series is definitely the driving machine. And then overall, yes, the 3 Series is the more clever choice, so to speak. You pay less money for a vehicle that is more fun to drive. And the only drawback is that you have a little bit less long-term seating comfort. Of course, it always depends on the individual body posture. So what's my choice? I would actually make it dependent on the driving profile. If I buy the 5 Series really for long-haul driving, then it actually makes sense, and this seating comfort thing is a big advantage. If you're driving rather sporty and you don't have like weekly, very, very long drives, then the 3 Series is the proper pick for you. And also when you consider the price difference. So I think it doesn't make much sense to pay so much more money for a 5 Series. So always depends then on the concise offer at the dealer you get. The question is, of course, which one would Leah take? So first of all, what do you like with the 3 Series?
The classy things, the buttons, they are really, really nice. And the driving. Yeah, I love driving the 3 Series.
And what do you like with the 5 Series?
The comfort seats.
Okay, so what would be your pick then?
Sorry for the 5 Series, but 3 Series, defo.
Uh-oh. Yeah, but I gotta say, for me, like the seats are so important that I'm still thinking.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
So bottom line, seat comfort, 5 Series, driving fun and price performance, better with the 3 Series. Which one would you take? Yeah, for me, it's a really tough decision because I feel so tempted to drive the 3 Series all the time. Yet at the same time, if I buy a vehicle for long-term driving, I might rather tend to the 5 Series. But you gotta admit that the overall better package, if you consider everything, is with the 3 Series at this moment. What do you think? Tell me in the comments and check out more comparison episodes.